And Tommy Mottola is a devil. I'm not supposed to say what I'm going to say right now, but I have to let you in on a secret.
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. And she was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
The record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola, the president of the record division, is a mean, he's a racist, he's very devilish. I really believe it's a conspiracy because the story always ends the same. At the end of the story, it's not an accident.
The companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony, being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
Almost 25 years after Aaliyah's tragic death, shocking claims are suddenly coming out about what was allegedly written in her private diary. Reports are spreading online saying the diary included serious accusations tied to Beyonce and even claims about Michael Jackson being set up. The rumors have instantly sparked huge debates because for years, people have questioned the strange and mysterious details surrounding both Aaliyah and Michael's deaths. What really has people talking is the fact that Beyonce's name keeps getting pulled into both stories again and again. Some people online are now wondering if it's all just wild coincidence or if there's way more happening behind the scenes than anybody expected. The timing of these alleged diary details coming out now has only made the situation look even more dramatic and suspicious. So what exactly was supposedly written in Aaliyah's diary? And why are these claims suddenly exploding all over the internet now? Let's break it all down. Michael Jackson, as most people know, passed away on June 25, 2009, after suffering from acute propofol intoxication. Michael Jackson's death was officially ruled a homicide, and his doctor, Conrad Murray, was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. But even after Murray went to prison, a lot of people still believed there were bigger figures behind the scenes who never faced any punishment. Some critics and conspiracy theories claim Murray was just the fall guy, while the real people with power stayed protected and out of the spotlight. At the time of his death, Michael was dealing with non-stop pressure from every direction. He was facing serious legal accusations that damaged his reputation, fighting lawsuits involving claims that millions of dollars had been taken from him, and constantly being criticized in public over changes to his appearance and rumors about cosmetic procedures. The media attention around him was intense, and many people felt the stress surrounding his life had reached a dangerous level.
Implants in your cheeks.
Oh, God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged.
Oh, please.
You've had your eyelids reconstructed. Eyelids reconstructed.
It's stupid.
None of it's true.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie. They don't want to give me credit for anything. One paper said I had because I was growing a little beard, he had each little hair transplanted into his face with a lasered in. How ignorant is that? I can't even grow a beard now? You ignorant fool who wrote so.
As mentioned earlier, Michael Jackson was also hit with multiple serious abuse allegations over the years, and he denied every single one of them up until the day he passed away. The accusations became one of the biggest controversies of his entire career and completely changed how the public looked at him. Back in 1993, Jordan Chandler, through a lawsuit filed by his parents, accused Michael of inappropriate conduct. At the time, Michael reportedly had no idea how much the case would impact his future. The situation quickly exploded into worldwide headlines, and after that, more accusations and investigations started following him for years. Even though many supporters argued there was limited physical evidence tied to several of the claims, the media coverage became nonstop and extremely damaging to his image. News outlets pushed the story heavily, and the pressure around him kept getting worse. Things became even more intense when investigators searched his property for evidence during the investigation. Reports also stated that authorities conducted invasive examinations and photographed identifying marks on his body as part of the case, which sparked huge public debate and added even more attention to the scandal surrounding him.
Treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. I have been forced to submit to a dehumanizing and humiliating examination by the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles Police Department earlier this week. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted. They were supposedly looking for any discoloration, spotting, blotches, or other evidence of a skin color disorder called vitiligo, which I have previously spoken about. The warrant also directed me to cooperate in any examination of my body by their physician to determine the condition of my skin, including whether I have vitiligo or any other skin disorder. The warrant further stated that I had no right to refuse the examination or photographs, and if I failed to cooperate with them, they would introduce that refusal at any trial as an indication of my guilt. It was the most humiliating ordeal of my life, one that no person should ever have to suffer.
Michael Jackson's trial officially began on February 28, 2005, and the media followed every single moment closely. Cameras stayed locked on him non-stop, with headlines constantly trying to frame him in the worst possible light. Supporters argued that despite the massive attention surrounding the case, the evidence presented in court was not enough to prove the accusations against him. In the end, Michael was found not guilty on all charges, but many people believe the damage to his reputation had already been done. The years of controversy, investigations, and public scrutiny had completely changed his life. Then, only 4 years later, the world was shocked when he tragically died after receiving a fatal dose of medication from his doctor. But according to ongoing rumors and online speculation, some people believe Michael had already made powerful enemies in the entertainment industry long before the allegations ever surfaced. Reports connected to claims about Aaliyah's alleged diary entries are now fueling even more conversation, with some people saying she believed Michael was in danger before her own passing. Around the same time, Michael had been preparing for his huge "This Is It" comeback tour, making his sudden death feel even more suspicious to conspiracy theorists online. Back in 2001, Michael Jackson got into a major battle with Sony Music, and things turned ugly fast. Michael reportedly wanted out of his contract because he felt the company was taking too much of the money generated from his work. At first, the plan was to simply wait until the deal expired, but according to reports, the tension became so intense that he started trying to leave the contract early. Sony, however, allegedly had no interest in letting one of their biggest stars walk away that easily. At the time, Michael was still one of the music industry's biggest global names, and the conflict quickly turned public. Reports claimed Sony pulled support from projects connected to his Invincible album just months before release. His charity song, "What More Can I Give?", which featured multiple artists, including Beyonce, and was created to help raise money for 9/11 victims, also reportedly faced major setbacks during that period. That's when Michael began openly speaking out against the music business in a way that shocked a lot of people. During a speech in July 2002, he accused the industry of unfairly exploiting artists, especially black artists, and directly criticized Sony executive Tommy Mottola. Michael publicly called Mottola mean, racist, and very, very devilish, while also claiming offensive language had been used behind the scenes toward a black artist. And Michael didn't stop there. At another event in London, he reportedly held up an image of Mottola drawn with devil horns, a tail, and a pitchfork while protesting Sony's treatment of him. The entire feud became one of the most explosive clashes between a superstar artist and a major record label at that time.
Companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola, the president of the record division, is a mean, he's a racist, he's very devilish. I really believe it's a conspiracy because the story always ends the same. At the end of the story, it's not an accident. It's happened on purpose.
The tradition of great performers from, and I really want you to hear what I have to say, the tradition of great performers from Sammy Davis Jr. to James Brown to Jackie Wilson, to Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly. The story is usually the same though. You know, these guys work really hard at their craft, but the story ends the same because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony, being being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
A lot of people also forget that Michael Jackson's anger towards Sony executive Tommy Mottola reportedly went deeper than just business problems and contract disputes. According to stories that circulated at the time, Mariah Carey, who had connections to both Michael and Mottola, had allegedly shared personal frustrations about how controlling Tommy was during their relationship and marriage. Reports claim she felt he heavily influenced both her career decisions and parts of her personal life. But once the public feud between Michael and Sony exploded, Mariah later defended Mottola publicly and pushed back against accusations that he was racist. That move shocked a lot of fans because it made Michael appear isolated in the situation, with critics acting like he was exaggerating or speaking out without support from people who privately knew what was happening behind the scenes.
You know, we always hear the conspiracy theories, like, you know, they be like, oh, Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC.
Yeah.
Michael's the only person I believe they really tried to railroad like that because of what he did with the publishing in the music industry.
He talked about it all the time. He talked about it all the time. One thing I will say is that in the studio, he would always talk about how he lived in a certain fear. And I used to always try to reel him in a direction like, yo, you only supposed to fear God. Man shouldn't have you feeling like that. No man should have you living in that space. But he lived in that space a lot because he felt like he had something that was so valuable, which he did. He had something so valuable that people wanted.
He owned like half of Sony ATV's publishing, right?
Yeah, I think what people have confused, I'm glad you said that way, because I think people have confused the narrative. People for so long have said, Michael owned the Beatles catalog.
I heard that.
No, Michael owned Sony ATV.
That's right.
Which is Babyface, Mariah, the Beatles.
Beyonce.
Probably some of my catalog was in there.
Isn't that like half the music industry?
Yes, like, I mean, you got three giants, right? At the time, you had three giants, and Sony was pretty much the biggest out the three at that time. And they did a deal with him that, you know, forever he felt that they wanted back. You know what I'm saying? And
you think they threw all those cases at Michael because they wanted it back?
I think it could have had something to do with it. I'm not going to say exactly that, but it could have had something to do with it. But I believe none of it because I was around Mike all the time and I knew the kind of person he was. So I'm like, they really trying to kill his character.
But the rumors don't stop there. Around the same time Michael Jackson's problems with Sony were becoming public, Beyonce's career was rising fast, and many people in the industry were already calling her one of the next major global superstars. Online conspiracy theories later started claiming that once executives felt Michael could no longer be controlled, the industry shifted its focus toward building a new face for pop music. Some of those rumors also dragged Aaliyah's tragic death into the conversation. Conspiracy discussions online claimed Aaliyah was seen as strong competition in the music world, and after her passing, it became easier for Beyonce's career to dominate the spotlight. Aaliyah sadly died in a plane crash in August 2001, while Michael's public issues with Sony escalated during that same period, which has fueled years of speculation from people trying to connect the timelines together. It's important to note that these claims remain unproven allegations and internet theories, with no verified evidence linking Beyonce to harm against either artist. Still, because both Aaliyah and Michael died under tragic and highly publicized circumstances, conspiracy conversations around their deaths continue to spread online even years later. What makes the situation even more dramatic to fans is that Michael had publicly shown respect and admiration for Beyonce's talent over the years, which only adds another layer to all the speculation people keep discussing today.
Book coming out about the late singer Aaliyah, and they're talking about the day of her death. An eyewitness says that Aaliyah did not want to board the plane. She was given a sleeping pill and was carried on unconscious. As you know, Aaliyah passed away 20 years
for Fatima Robinson to speak up about what she heard on that phone. It's time for somebody to be honest about who gave Aaliyah the pills that knocked her out before she was carried onto a plane she didn't want to be on. It's time for the other dancers who knew she was terrified to get on that plane to speak up.
As expected, the internet had a lot to say about all these rumors and conspiracy theories. One person commented, Sony needed him bankrupt. His This Is It tour was gonna clear his loans. Less than a month before the first tour date, he died. Hell of a coincidence. That comment alone sparked huge debates online, with people arguing back and forth over whether Michael's death was really just tragic timing or something deeper. Another person wrote, notice the allegations didn't start until he began owning things. They will allow you to make money and become famous, but ownership is where they draw the line. Comments like these continue to fuel discussions about power, control, and how the entertainment industry treats major artists behind closed doors. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Michael was targeted because he spoke out against the industry? Or do you believe these theories are being taken too far? And what are your thoughts on the rumors connecting Aaliyah and Beyonce to all of this drama? Drop your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild entertainment stories, and I'll catch you in the next one.